Coming up in Center Circle, older and bolder, Richard Edwards speaks about his time in the national setup. How have changes at UWI affected the team in the Premier League? And a change of name, but the fortunes remain the same for Veer. Having spent 6 years with the national senior team, Richard Shortman Edwards is looking back at his time in the black, green and gold as a loss. The former midfielder who called it a day with the team in 2013 says more could have been gained if he was afforded the time.
In this stage in my life, I think I'm free to speak how I want to speak without holding back anything. In my time playing for the national team, I think it was a waste of investment on my ability to play the game. So I say that to say this: I would be in camp for a year, a whole year, and the team would build around a certain playing style. And when we're going into tournaments, going into competition, and then they call this player, say they play the second division in England or wherever, when we're going into that tournament, that player is getting the nod over me. And then the team has to adjust to his playing style when he didn't even have one good practice session with the team. The players don't really understand what he's capable of doing or can't do, you know? And I wish where I'm at now in my life, I wish I was in the same position when I used to play. Bold enough to say how I feel or speak how I want to speak without even holding back anything. And every time I look at Chelsea playing and I see N'Golo Kante play, it just reminds me of the amount of sacrifices that I used to make when I was playing. I would say it's a waste of investment. And now everyone consider N'Golo Kante as a world-class holding midfielder. When I was playing, I used to do the same. No different from what he was doing. When you're a local player, you go through a lot of adversities. A lot. When I say a lot, and you have to keep it in. Keep it in. As football players, as soccer players, most of the football players, as much as how you'll see them looking bright and, you know, their face light up and stuff like that, a lot of us going through mental issues that we have to deal with before we take the field. You know, sometimes you face some, because like I said, I'm bold enough to speak, I don't care. While in the national team, there's so much that you have to deal with. You leave your family for 2 weeks, and when you're coming back, you're expecting 1 year per diem, 2 your appearance fee, and you have to be fighting for that. But yet still, when you take the field, they want you to play and give your best. You can't. It's not possible. Because in the back of your mind, you're like, when I come home, everyone is going to expect, you know, for me to put food on my table, provide food on my table, but then you can't.
But Edwards says there were always players who were willing to stand up for each other.
We tried it once, and I have to give a lot of respect to Luton Shelton. We tried, I'm not going to call names, but we tried it in, I think, 2010 at the Digital Cup with the more senior players within the group that time. I think it was 5 players at the time. Luton Shelton, again, I have to speak up for this guy because he's you know, he was one of the boldest one to stand up for, you know, all the players. And the next day we look in the paper, we saw the headline, players sticking up the country for money. We're not sticking up the country for money. We were standing up for what we believe in and what was promised to us. That's what we did. And when we realized that wasn't forthcoming, that's when, you know, the more senior players decided that, listen, I'm going to speak up for the group. You know, we just need to take our performance to the next level when we hit the field. And that's what we did.
And it wasn't long after that, Edwards believes, he became surplus to requirements where the national team is concerned.
There was a fallout. Again, this fallout, if I had done this a little bit earlier, the same thing would have happened. I stood up and speak about what I believe in, and that was the result of that. I didn't even was considered to be a part of the program anymore. And truth be told, Brian, after I did what I did, I knew what was going to happen. So in my mind, I already start making my decision already. I was already making the decision for myself that to represent the national team, it's never gonna happen again. And I just need to make up my mind what I'm going to do after this. We were in Miami at I think Fort Lauderdale, and we were playing against Peru, and we already laced and about to walk out to take the pitch to go warm up, and the late Captain Burrell told us that we can't take the field because his cut of the money is not right. I'm a player, I don't care about that side of it, the monetary side or the financial side of it, I don't care. So when that happened, the captain, which was Shevar Thomas at the time, asked the group to go back into the changing room. Now we went back into the changing room and we were there for about 10 to 15 minutes. Remember, we're preparing for a game, a big friendly international. Anyways, we went back there for about 10, 15 minutes, and then they came back and said, listen, gentlemen, we're going to play the game. However, if halftime comes and the money is not right, we're not taking the field again. Okay? So at halftime, we were leading 1-0. We were leading 1-0. So everyone was happy. Everyone was, feeling good. When we hit the changing room, they were there doing their calculation, counting their money and stuff like that. And we took the field second half. At the end of the 90 minutes, we lost the game 2-1. So we were in the changing room after the game, and the coaches start, bashing the players and stuff like that about not taking it serious and this and that. And I sat there, and each time he knock a player, it's like my nerve, like I'm getting tired. I'm just tired of hearing the negative stuff, And while being there, I just lost it. I just got up and said, listen, we've been with you for 8-9 years, and never one time you stood up for us and defended us as players, and we're the one who is putting you on the map. I'm not gonna call the coach name, but we said every time we're going onto the field, putting you on the map, you're getting all the respect that you're supposed to get as a coach. Yeah. So like I said to him, at least this one time, why couldn't you just defend us now that everything is happening in front of our face? Because before, everything would happen and we know nothing about it. But this time, this one time, everything was happening right in front of our face. So now we're not taking a hearsay from anyone else. We're witnessing everything now. And this one time, when the floor was open, the door was open for you to defend us as players, defend for what we should get. You're bashing the players. Us as Jamaican, the moment you stand up for what is right, the moment you decide that you're going to speak out, people start holding grudge against you. Whether you're the most talented player on the park, people start holding grudge, and because of that grudge, you'll never succeed.
With the World Cup qualifiers just right around the corner, Edwards says the right approach must be taken, as chopping and changing will only leave the team where it is at the moment.
Jamaica football is not focusing solely on the youth. In my time when I used to play for the national team, we'll have a group that they'll say, we're working on this score for the World Cup qualifiers. If this score fail, let's say the core group is together for 3 years, and this core fail to qualify the country for the World Cup during this World Cup qualifier. After this qualifier, they push this group aside that the country invest in for 3-4 years, and then they start with a fresh core of players and expect for us to qualify. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If you look worldwide, and I'm going to use Belgium because it's the easiest team to look at to say, just look at the core group from Belgium. Anytime they're calling in anyone new, it's maybe 1 or 2 players, and those 2 players has to be exceptional before they can break into that squad. But most of those players, they've been playing for 10, 11 years together, and you can see it on the field. You know, it's that obvious. We don't invest long term, we look for short term. Our mindset is to invest long term, but we're looking for a short term result. If you have a belief, you have to stick to your belief. If you as a coach believe in a certain playing style, or you have a certain methodology in regards to the game itself, if when you call players and the players are not able to fit within that system, as a coach, you must have some sort of pride and some sort of credibility in regards to what you have to hold yourself accountable for. You know, and if you're not getting that on the field, it's simple. It's easy for you to walk away from the job because you're not getting what you believe in. And if you're not getting the support, then we would call ourselves a football country, but I say no, we're not. We're a people with great minds about the game, but we don't have the patience to accept what we can deliver on the field. In my time when I used to play, I'm sure the players who used to play before me, they would say, in my time, football used to be better than now. I am not going to say that. We just have to accept what it is and try to see how best we can improve each individual player to be the best that they possibly can be. If a player is good defensively, we need to focus on that player to be the best defender you possibly can be. If a player, his strength is attacking, we need to work on that player to, you know, be the best attacking player that he can be. I think most of the clubs, they'll have this gem within the club, and they allow the gem to be like the big player per se. So stuff that he would get away with, the other players can't get away with it. No, it shouldn't be like that. Everyone should be equal. Everyone should be treated as just. And I think the football will get better because I've grew up playing with a lot of quality players. And recently I watched a game out at Harborview, and Romario Campbell. When I look at Romario Campbell, and I used to play with him before, he reminds me so much of Jeremy and you, but then when you see the decline in his game, you have to wonder to yourself, like, where did he go wrong? Or where did the club went wrong? Because I'm sure when he left Harborview, he went to, I think, Waterhouse, and then he went to Mount Pleasant, and then he's right back where he started, you know? So he made a full circle and come right back. So I'm not sure if it's from a club standpoint or from a player standpoint or the player environment standpoint, because then your environment, your circle has a lot to do with, you know, your growth or what you can gain from the sport.
When we return, a lower wage bill at UWY doesn't equate to good results on the field. And Veer United say they are here for the ride, but not a quickie.